And we're back again for part 5 of Citizen Sleeper 2. Already had a part 5, but I had audio issues. I should have checked. I will be checking my microphone audio over on OBS before I start recording from now on, because I went to check through it and for some reason it was a mess. Let's just say it was a mess. Something wasn't quite right. Don't know what happened, but essentially we are going to be missing an hour's worth of the game. Thank God it's only an hour and not like 3 or 4 hours, because that's how long my videos have usually been for this game. But I'm sure you don't mind. It's only an hour. Whatever. Mistakes happen. I'm still learning on the job. Let's jump in. So we just finished doing this job for Aki. Purple Aki. There's nothing else I can do here. I can't spend my last couple of dice. So let's just return to Greenbelt. Oh no, this is Helion, isn't it? Yeah. So I need to do some... Let's get some scrap and stuff from here. But in order to make a good profit on the scrap, I need to go to Holmes Rock, which is 6 fuel. So I might spend a couple of cycles here just getting some scrap and stuff. Wait. Not sure how long we can spend here, but spend as much time as we can. And I can't get food from here, I'm sure of it. So I need to use my own supplies as food. But not to worry, because I have 3. So let's just eat some food. What's this one again? Supplies, and the other one is fuel, right? Yeah, fuel. So we're here mainly for scrap, for the profit. I don't know whether it's worth keeping hold of some of the data. Can't remember if it's used for anything, like upgrades and stuff, I don't know. Oh, looks like we need some more food. Let's get them searching for supplies. Wheat. It's not making for great content right now, I know, but I need to grab as much as I can. Let's eat some more food. How much fuel do I need again to get there? 6, okay. Oh, that hit me hard. Might try to get to like 20 of each. Let's just keep going then. Oof. Ouch. And the cycle continues. Oh, that's some terrible dice. Oopsie. Let's get some fuel. I guess it's free, so... Kinda. Nice. Do one more. Ah. I'll save that dice. It's a good dice. The nice high one. Get him to search for some more supplies. I could potentially stay here for quite a long time. Oh, and apologies if the audio's a little funny. my tumble dryer is on in the background. But yeah, I could stay for a while still before all the dice break. I guess I can't fix them here. Oh, I can. Oof. Oops, starving again. Yeah, they can source more supplies. One glitch dice, okay. Let's use this 2. See if we can get some fuel out of this. Nice. Get rid of this bad dice. I'm gonna do one more cycle here and then head out. I realise this isn't making for the best viewing right now, but... Again, I could stay for quite a long time, but... it kind of feels like a bit of an exploit. Like it's giving me too much. I could have done this in an earlier video. I came across, I thought was an exploit. Like it was some, I can't remember what it was, but if you failed it, it would lock you out. And it wouldn't lock me out. I could have stayed there for ages, just getting more resources, but... I'm gonna just make this my last time and then head out. Yeah, we're good. So we're gonna head across to Holmes Rock because I know it fetches a good price for scrap. Let's just take a look around. Buy fuel. There's some work there. Supplies. Sell engine components. I really don't want to be selling engine components. More work. Work. Sell raw scrap. think I'll sell it all this time. I know there's another version of scrap. I don't know whether I can convert this into that kind of scrap, but if that's the case, I'll just head back to where I was before and mine some more, maybe. And no, in fact, I'll keep hold of 5 again. Maybe a mission will pop up where I need some or something. It'll save me a trip then. I forget which station lets me sell the Solheim data. Maybe this one does it. Ah, I can't use that anymore. Pulling a clean array from the Solheim relay is a tricky job, especially given the state of the facility. I don't remember this last time I was here. Get some food. Buy a meal. And the cycle. I need to get rid of some of this stress too. Oh, I've got a broken dice. Oh, I don't have any crap. Well, a glitch dice is better than no dice. I think. I don't do that very often, but here we are. And that's the stress gone. Yeah, 3 glitch dice, great. Let's try to get rid of them. Oh. What happened to it? Oh, I was coming here for that wide beam array. Ah, it's a good job I came here then. What's this one again? Supplies. Oh well, fuel. Let's stock up on fuel. Do some work here. Right. Let's mosey on out. But I need to go to repaint rig. Yeah. What's this place again? Yeah, I can't... Wellspring. I guess I can't go over there. No, come on. There. Come on. I'm gonna have to use the mouse. Let's head out there then. I think this is something I didn't get to complete earlier on. Feed the cat. What are these other ones? Gambling. Need high dice for this. That is some terrible dice I just got. Process scrapyard in bulk. It's not a bad deal. Wait. Ah, so that's how I do process the scrap. Okay. Well, this is the only thing. A scrapyard shift is the best thing to spend these low dice on. Or this one. Let's deliver these two. This mission was from ages ago. You remember us? Nemba appears at the loading dock, slate in hand as you load the crates into the back of the kitchen. I'm a little surprised. You look at the chef. He looks tired, though his sharp eyes haven't dulled in the time between your meetings. Happy to surprise you. Well, I'm not that surprised. He smiles, but it's still a pleasant feeling. Nemba glides over to a crate to take a look. He squints at the crumbled corners and bent lids. Not in great condition though. How long have these been bouncing around in your hold? They were like that already. Now that I can believe. They didn't bother to bring them to the right station, after all. I have a place picked out in one of the bays to cultivate these. Warm, damp, near the air recyclers. He pushes one of the crates gently into the kitchen. Shouldn't take long before we have mushrooms to cook. You follow Nemba into the kitchen, remembering your shifts working here. They were long, but the company was good. And as with all things, the difficulties have faded with time, leaving a golden sheen behind. Nemba seems to catch the way you are looking at the kitchen. Much the same as before, I'm sure you noticed, but twice as oversubscribed. Each cycle, more refugees come out of the inner system, The war isn't going anywhere. Nemba pushes the crate into a storage rack and pulls netting across. They disperse across the belt, of course, but many don't make it much further than the overhang, especially if they can't work. It's not just food either. We need blankets, housing. Nemba suddenly pauses, and then shoots you a look over his glasses. Tell me, how was Greenbelt? Green. Helpful. Nemba raises an eyebrow. I heard it was organised as cooperative, all the workers sharing in the trade of their goods. But no chits exchange, only resources for the colony. Nemba watches you closely. I had to pay cryo for the spores. Well, they can't all be saints. He smiles. I'm sorry for that. I mention it because, well, it might be the kind of place to offer aid to the people here. Nemba sighs. I regret being mercenary, but waiting for benevolent helpers doesn't work. Apart from present exceptions, of course. I can speak to them. It's worth a shot. Nemba looks you in the eye, but you need their trust first. Earn that, then talk. You have the feeling Nemba was waiting for your suggestion. Here. He takes one of the crates of spores. I'm sure they could use these. Take them as a gift. He pushes it to you. But don't begin with the spores. Begin by understanding what they need from you. Trust me. You have a feeling Nemba is good at getting what he wants. Meanwhile, I have meal prep to begin. He takes a deep breath. Thank you for the spores. Really. I will keep asking for help. You have to forgive me for that. He smiles. It doesn't mean I don't understand what you are giving. Now get out of here. Nemba waves you away with your crate of packed spores, his expression somehow both withering and encouraging at the same time. Oh, I only got 1 instead of 2 points for that. Man. Well, might as well put a shift in and get rid of these dice. That's a bit better. Let's start at the top. Use my bigger dice. I'm getting some quite decent money from it. These are crap dice. But I don't think I'm going to get much better. Let's just do it. Wrong one. Even with a 6, it's 25% positive. Come on, please get it on this one. Okay. Spindle sketch. Don't know what that means. Oh, it must be for the paint job. Oh, I lost 9 cryo. Let's put a shift in down here. Okay. Do I just keep feeding it constantly? Let's do odd jobs to make up for the money I lost. Nothing else here for it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, yes, this one. Damn. Oh, it's getting me a lot of stress, though. I'm just going to keep going until I can't do it anymore. That's it. Can't do it anymore. Da-da-da. Let's buy a supply. Don't need food. Well, I'll get one. Try and get rid of some of this stress. Damn. Come on. Okay. That'll do. Let's get out of here then. There's nothing else for me to do, is there? Return to the scatter yards. I don't need to go to Flotsam for anything, do I? Just double checking I don't need anything else to do down here. Or do I go back to Helion and get some more scrap? I do need to go to Greenbelt though. I can't cross between Greenbelt and Scatter Yards. Yeah, I think it's going to be more beneficial going this way. At least I can grab some scrap on the way. That's all I'm going to come for though, just do once. Or should I do another cycle? Yeah, let's do one more cycle. Right, let's head out. Again, I could spend a long time there, but I just want to progress through the game. You bring the steppe silk husk you gathered from the wind's long shadow to Aki, and she is pleased as you would expected. You meet her on the bridge overlooking greenfields, the belt workers quietly toiling below, while the recyclers wind gently rustles the leaves of the crops. Sleeper. Aki holds up the husk to her chest. Thank you. These are a new beginning for us. Aki pauses, knitting her brow. How was she, the wind's long shadow? She must have been beautiful once. Aki smiles. She truly was. She looks down. Until they killed her. Aki sighs and looks out at the greenbelt fields. Everyone must die in the end. The belt makes wrecks of us all. He looks back to you. But what you have brought me? This is new life. Gives us time. We will need to clear and reseed the other biosphere. Aki bows. I hope you return to us when the work is done. She passes a handful of chits into your hand. Thank you. She meets your eye. You watch her carry the husk gently away, glowing with the promise of fresh growth. Yep. We have over 1,000 cryo now. Sweet. Right. I'm back. Not that you would know I'm back. To you, I never left. But took the dog for a walk, washed my hairy balls, made some food for me and the doggos, and now we're on for the night. Yeah, baby. Okay, let's do this little thing here. Aki's working to integrate the step silk into the biome, shoring up Greenbelt. He should come back when she's done. Do I have to come back in 6 cycles? That's a long time. I got a lot of money right now. Well, 6 cycles is quite a long time. Especially when there's nothing to do here. Is there no work I can do? I can only buy a meal there. Buy fuel, buy supplies. As if there's no work to do here. Oh, that's just a waste of dice. Well, I suppose I can get rid of that one stress that I have. Huh. Okay. Let's get some fuel and then head out. I might as well go and get some scrap then while I'm waiting. Or should I just go off and do some other missions? I want to get some more sheet metal, but at the same time, do I really need it? Let's just, yeah. Let's head to Helion. The Hollow, even. Can't actually go to the dark side, can I? So. You wait in the makeshift Helion dispatcher's studio as Kimball tinkers with the array somewhere in the back, behind the far wall. It's a humble setup, a stool for Cyrene, a microphone, the transmitter and mixer terminal, and the hard line snaking away towards the array. But there's something pleasing about it, all the same. The crackling sound of fresh welds echoes through the bay from Kimball's concealed position. You hope the array you struggle to extract isn't getting fried as you wait. You're here. Good. Cyrene rushes in, holding a small dark rectangle in her hand. You will not believe what we have on here. She looks around the bay. Where's Kimball? Hopefully not frying another transmitter. You mean, Cyrene smiles, we're going back on air? Before you can answer, she leaps forward, grabbing you in a surprisingly firm hug. Cyrene lets you go. Sorry. She smiles, just excited to finally be back on. Kimball, she shouts towards the back of the bay. How long for that new array? A muffled shout comes from behind the rear wall. Okay. Cyrene takes a steady breath. We have a little time. What have you got there? This broadcast is from Erlin's Eye. Cyrene's eyes flash. We haven't heard anything out of them since the start of the war. Some people even said they've fallen to the flux. But something is happening there. Something is growing. This report says some protocol has taken over the station. become its protector. Conway drones can't get close. Senate stat is giving a wide berth. They're right in the middle of the war. Conway on the starward side, Senate stat on the sunward, and they are resisting. Starion smiles. We have to tell everyone in the belt about this. We have to get the word out. And the eye can be held. If the eye can be held, well, maybe we can hold out too. Starion looks at the drive in her hand. Either way, people need to know. There's a sudden clunk, a few percussive shouts from Kimball, and then a flickering of lights all across the bay as the transmitter and array begin powering up. You and Cyrene watch as Helion Dispatch's studio comes to life, ready to broadcast once more. Not bad. Cyrene leans on your shoulder. Not bad at all. A shout comes across from Kimball, and you know he's calling for Cyrene to get ready. That's my signal. She grins. Oh, I almost forgot. Cyrene produces a handful of chits. Turns out we have some avid listeners in the radius markets. She deposits them into your hands. Alright, Cyrene takes a breath. I need to go live. She flashes you a smile. Thank you. I will make sure we make good use of that array. This will mean something. Kimball bellows something from the back of the room. Something you can only assume is a thank you. You leave the belt's most unusual double act to their broadcast, and as you do, you hear Cyrene's voice echoing through the bay. This is Cyrene Saber, back on the air, to wish you all a free Helion, now and forever. Sweet! More monies, I got more monies. 1,200 chits, baby. Well, I've got skill points to spend. Sweet! Let's put it in interface. Nice. Debris dealers. Fuel. I can sell processed scrap here, but do I want to? Oh, it has significant value here. Right. I'll have to remember. Right. The hollow. Okay. But I don't need the money, so I'll keep it. I'll keep it just in case. Don't I need... To repair dice, I need... scrap components, and it's something else, isn't it? I forget the name. I forget the name of this one. I don't need anything from here. Maybe some fuel, but I'll come back. So, I can sell my Solheim data here too. And there's some work for me. I might as well sell some of these then. I just hope I don't need a bunch of them for like a mission later on. I'll just keep hold of 5. I wish I could sell them quicker. Keep hold of 10. Just in case. It's not like I need the money right now. Don't need supplies. Do need some fuel though. So I'll fill my fuel. We'll do some work here. Sweet. Okay, let's head out. We do need... I'm sure we need to go back to the scatter yards, don't we? Whoa, 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 whoa. Return to the scatter yards. I only needed to go one place? Okay. I might double back round then, go all the way around. Collect more scrap and Solheim data. Process them into scrap metal sheets. Sleeper. Surya booms as he meets you inside his yard. I couldn't be happier to see you. Tell me, did you find inspiration out there? In our belt? He grins widely. I found some customers for you. Your livery, yes, it is quite striking, and I believe it has spread my name to much of the belt. Let me see your work. He holds out a hand and you pass him the colour slate. Lovely. He scrolls through the sketches. I will pass your designs on to my crews, where they will build on them. Surya gestures to the yard. They are the best ship fitters in all the belt, as you know. If you come to the yard and speak with them, you may choose whichever design you desire. Surya squints at the slate. This hollow drawing is really quite interesting. He reaches into his tool belt and produces a stack of chits. The remainder of your fee. Our business is concluded. He nods, adding a little bow to the movement. I am a busy man. I must get to my business, but thank you again for helping to build a legacy for my yard. Surya folds his arms across his chest. I believe you have work to see to. But imagine, if you will, flying out on your next contact in a fresh livery, a beautiful reinvention from Surya's yard. He gestures widely. When your clients ask why your rig is so beautiful, feel free to send them to me. Surya smiles, bows, and turns to leave. You watch Surya go, still unsure if his entire attitude is an act, meant to confuse you into consent. He is a hard man to dislike, but there is something about him you can't quite put your finger on. Either way, it is hard not to feel a little bit thankful for the chance he gave you to look at the belt with new eyes, even if it was while flying one of the most garish ships the belt's ever seen. More money. I got an upgrade point too. Anything of interest here? Oh, wait, so what? Is it still the same colour now then? Yeah. A ramshackle mix of colours and textures. This far spindle tribute blends in with the belt. Green belt paint. Greens, of course, but also simple natural forms make the green belt design a strong graphic look. Rig hollow paint. Reflective panels of pale colours means a bright and elegant look, a little too clean for Surya's taste. Guess we'll go for this one. It looks pretty decent. Can I bounce between them without paying now, or... Sweet. Ah. It's green. I know I'm wasting money right now, but I have plenty of it, so... Yeah. I don't know whether I like the first one or this one. Let's stick with this one. Looks kind of cool. Fabricator Bay. Oh, this is the one that was bugged out, I think. I do need more components, though. Okay. See, I think it's bugged or something. Let's feed the cat. This better not be pointless, wasting all these supplies. That'll do. Come back to this. No we won't, because there's nothing else to be... I'm just gonna use my dice over here then. Just 1 second. Okay, let's head out. So that's 2 cycles, so I need another 4 cycles. Let's... Do I have any missions over here? I don't really need to go to Flotsam, but I need to kill some time. Might just go straight here. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't need the scrap really, do I? I've got plenty of money. You find Oliver exactly where Ankita said it would be. A ragged colony, nestled in a crater on one of the biggest rocks of the shoals. Seraphine gets no response to its initial broadcast, and so you find yourself in a docking tunnel. The rig at one end, the colony at the other. with no idea what awaits you. If you need to get back on that ship and keep flying, you freeze in the dark tunnel. A figure of you in front of you, holding a long gun at their hip. I'm serious. Your eyes adjust to the dark, and as they do, you see a man, no, a boy, carrying a long dark shape in his hands. I don't know how you found us, but you need to leave right now and forget this place. You glance over your shoulder and see Seraphim, his hands raised in front of him in a gesture of calm. Look, kid, we mean no harm. How about you go run and get someone? I am someone. I'm Xander. He sticks out his jaw. It's you I don't know, and I'll decide who's gonna do some harm here. He reaches across his chest and thumbs on a lamp he has lashed there. You blink in the glare of the bright light, shielding your eyes as you do. You see a flicker of confusion crossing Xander's face. He meets your eye with a look of shock and opens his mouth as if to speak, though no words emerge. Ankita Centers. You notice the familiar name registered with Xander, adding to whatever confusion or question your appearance has provoked. You see his eyes taking in your sleeper body, his gun dropping a little as he takes his attention off it. Is this? He looks between you and Seraphim. Are you here for Flint? He pulls the gun closer to himself. I'll be honest, kid, we have no idea who you are talking about. Seraphim allows himself to drift a little forward. So how about you drop the gun and we can talk like adults? As Seraphim floats past you, he gives you a look that makes you nervous. Let's all stay calm. Xander? The voice echoes along the docking bridge. Xander, what are you doing? A figure appears at the end of the bridge behind Xander, a young woman clearly older than the boy in front of you. Found these two trying to sneak in, Cadence. Xander keeps his eyes on you and Seraphim as he speaks. Saboteurs, maybe? Was about to send them on their way. Xander grins. I assure you, we are not saboteurs, miss. Seraphim smiles at Cadence. Cadence sighs and glides towards Xander. Stop messing around with that welder. She snatches the gun out of Xander's hands. As she does, both you and Seraphim reflexively flinch. Cadence looks at the two of you with a raised eyebrow and turns the gun so you can see it better. You notice the fuel tank and welding muzzle. It probably has an effective range less than half a foot. Seraphim looks at Xander and rolls his eyes. Seriously? Cadence lowers the welder to her side and turns to Xander. Now's not the time. We just got an emergency broadcast from Carmen and Flint. Something's happened. Xander's attitude changes immediately. He turns to face Cadence, putting his back to you. As if you had just disappeared completely. What do you mean? Something's happened. I don't know. They went quiet in the shoals. All we got was a distress signal. Cadence raises her hands reassuringly. Don't get excited. They probably just had a technical fault on the ship. But we should check anyway. We have to get them. Xander grabs the welder back and slings it over his shoulder. In what, Xander? Cadence sighs. They took our only functioning ship. The tender tide's still in pieces in the hangar. Seraphim gives you a nudge and nods towards Cadence and Xander. This is your chance. We have a ship. Xander wheels around in the tunnel, squinting at you in thought. Seraphim moves past you, approaching them. We need to see Carmen, and it seems like Carmen needs our help. He looks between the two of them. So how about we stop messing around in this dingy tunnel and go get your friend? Xander turns back to Cadence. Them? Really? He rolls his eyes. We're not the only people on Olivera. There must be other ships. You want to go looking? They're here now. Cadence looks at Seraphim. And they are generously offering to help. She smiles sheepishly. Fine. Xander folds his arms. But I'm coming with you. Fine by us. Seraphim shakes his head and looks at you. Come on then. You both turn and head back into the ship, Seraphim whispering as you do. What kind of backwater has Ankita sent us to? She sighs. The kid thinks he's some kind of sheriff. Not used to visitors, I guess. Tucked away in the shoals like this. I'm not surprised. What are they doing out here? What are we talking about? Xander catches up with you and Seraphim. His mood seemed buoyed by the prospect of boarding a ship. You wonder how often he gets to leave Oliveira. Nothing. Xander shrugs. Sounds boring. Wait up. You turn back to see Cadence gliding up the tunnel. I changed my mind. I'm coming too. Cadence, come on. Cadence, come on. Trying to say it the right way as they would be saying it. Xander rolls his eyes. Carmen and Flint need tech. Carmen and Flint need techs, not a chef. What are you going to do out there? Seraphine cuts in. He always this rude to you? He gives Xander a look, shaking his head. If she wants to come, she can come, right? He looks at you. He pauses, but Seraphine doesn't seem to be waiting for confirmation. You are slightly thrown off by his eagerness to be helpful. This is the first time you've actually seen him be welcoming to anyone coming on board the rig. Xander puffs out his cheeks sulkily as Cadence smiles and glides into the ship quietly behind you all. When you get to the cockpit, you notice Xander looking wide-eyed at the consoles and switches. Seraphine pats him on the shoulder. Might want to strap in there, kid. Xander and Cadence find a place to settle as Seraphine buckles himself into the flight seat. Alright. He turns to Xander. Show us where to go. Well, that was a quick stop. I gotta quickly put some laundry in the dryer. Head out into the shoals, the thick debris field that surrounds Oliveira. What's happening in here, Sleeper? Bliss pokes their head into the cockpit as Seraphine brings the ship in towards the signal coordinates Xander gave him. You look around the cockpit. Xander is tapping at the co-pilot console mounted in front of his seat in a haphazard way, while Cadence is asking Seraphine about how the rig works. Surprisingly, Seraphine is responding with patience and care. They'll help us find Carmen, if you say so. Bliss looks over at Seraphine and Cadence. Is Seraphine smiling? They shake their head. Something is going on. Bliss turns back to you. Judy's working on the ship's wiring and won't respond to my messages. Probably in the walls somewhere, hooked up to the main line. They smile a weak smile. I'm here. So how about you tell me what we are doing out in the middle of nowhere? Quiet. Seraphine's voice cuts through the chatter. Is that? He gestures out into the debris field at a sparking, ragged-looking shape tucked beside a rock. Xander rushes to the cockpit glass. Carmen. A moment of tense silence grips the room. That's his ship. You and Bliss exchange concerned glances. This isn't good. I'll bring her in. Seraphine's eyes are fixed on the wreck of the crumpled ship now. We don't know anything yet, so everyone calm down. Xander is silent, his face pressed against the glass. Cadence stares out at the wreck, her cheeks pale. No one speaks until the rig is brought to a stop. Alright, now we are going out there, and we'll have a poke around. Seraphine looks between Cadence and Xander. We verify the ship and we recover the crew. Seraphine gives you and Bliss a nod, and you both push off and glide towards the back of the cockpit. Suddenly Xander pushes off from the window and glides with you out of the cockpit. I'm coming too. You need someone to identify the ship. He stops and takes a breath. Are you sure? I'm sure. Xander gets the words out, then pushes on ahead towards the airlock. You follow behind, ready to suit up and investigate. How come I got Bliss? I didn't pick Bliss. Let's use Bliss's dice. Get rid of the shitty dice first. Crap dice, man. Let's try again. Oops, I used the wrong one, but it worked out anyway. The search of Carmen's gutted ship has impacted the moon in the rig. As more and more evidence of an attack has appeared, the quieter Xander has got and the more Cadence has retreated into the bunks. Now with the search complete, you are gathered in the cockpit to discuss what's been found. Come on. Cadence floats by the door, hugging herself against the cold. Tell us already. Xander is perched on the back of one of the seats, looking at some hinged container he found in the wreck. Open and closed, open and closed. Explain carefully. You start by summarizing the search, talking around the details, picking your language carefully. You describe the damage to the ship but not the attack. You talk about the occupants of the ship without mentioning what might have happened to them. Seraphine quickly cuts in. What Sleeper is saying, he gives you a look, is that the ship was hit with weapons fire, badly, and the drive was fired up and they attempted to flee. The drive burnt out and the ship, after hitting multiple rocks and bits of debris, came to a halt here. He takes a breath. We found no bodies. At the mention of that word, bodies, a shudder runs through those assembled. Then they are here, somewhere. Xander has a steely look in his eyes. And we find them, whatever state they are in. He looks at Cadence. She nods back at him. Xander's right, we aren't leaving them out here. Carmen made Oliveira what it is. He saved us. We won't come back without him. He shivers and looks at Xander. He would do the same for us. Based on the damage to the ship, Seraphine begins. They're almost certainly dead. We get it. Xander cuts him off. But there are debris trails leading away from the ship. I've seen them. There are? There are. Seraphine holds his hands out in a calming manner. But those could be from secondary explosions or depressurization. We picked the wrong trail and it could lead us in circles, cycle after cycle. Then we better pick the right one. Cadence has Xander's steely look now too. She stares directly at Seraphine, challenging him to answer back. He sighs. Then that's what we'll do. He looks at you with resignation. Whatever happened here, you won't be leaving until you see its end. This isn't leading us anywhere, Sleeper. Bliss's voice comes over the comms. I'm sorry, but we have to call it. You look out at the scattered debris gleaming in the sunlight. Bliss is right. This trail is going nowhere. If Carmen and Flint did head out from the ship this way, there's no way you'll find them. And if they didn't, there are still more places to look. Bliss interrupts your thoughts. We won't give up on them yet. You think of Xander and Cadence and how they must feel right now. The search must continue. Great. Xander turned out to be fucking dog shit. Oh, it bugged. And Bliss is no good. Nice. I wish I could have picked my own crew. What is those dice? What the hell? Great. Gosh. And now I've got a broken dice. Fantastic. Why would it assign me these two people when they're no good for the mission? That's annoying. The trail is dead, Sleeper. Seraphine sighs over the comms. It's going nowhere. You have to agree. Picking through the debris has been nothing but an exercise in futility. And now, coming to a dead end. You aren't even sure if there's anything to find at all, out here at all. Look back to one of the other trails, Sleeper. Seraphine pauses. We're going to keep going. What else can you do? You just hope for Xander and Cadence's sake you find something soon. What is with the stress? There was no negatives on those last dice with bliss. What? Did I just get stressed for nothing and didn't even get the dice from it? Oh, whatever. Whatever. I'm running out of supplies. And dice. This better be it. When the starward trail led to the caves, a little hope was kindled in the hearts of the crew. But after plumbing the depths of these dark passages, that home seemed snuffed out. Xander has struggled on in the silence, only speaking to update Cadence on the lack of news via the cockpit comms. But he speaks now, quietly at first, and then with increasing urgency. A light, sleeper. I see a light. And with that he kicks off hard from the wall and darts down a dark tunnel with reckless speed. You follow, but the tunnels are winding, and you quickly lose Xander around a corner. You kick off from the same wall, trying to close the gap, but when you come around the same corner you can't find Xander anywhere, and you see it, through a thin slit in the cave wall, a flickering, fading light. You cross over to it and see scratches on chunks scraped out of the rock. Someone has dragged something through here. Push through. You push away some of the floating rock and squeeze yourself into the gap. As you do, you watch the light pulsing inside the cave, setting the cracks and shapes of the rock in sharp relief. You search those shadows for something recognizable, but the light source remains out of sight. And then you are through. You steady yourself against the wall and look towards the light. There, beside a fading emergency lamp, floats a body, its head instantly striking you as strange and misshapen. Carmen's body. You know immediately this must be Carmen. His head is shrouded in an emergency helmet, inflated around him like a balloon, while an oxygen canister floats nearby attached by a tube. His eyes are closed, his body still. You try to settle your gaze on his chest to see the telltale rise of it and fall, and then the light catches something else, something broken and skeletal nearby, a face with bright eyes watching you. A sleeper. Oh, it's another sleeper. Another sleeper. They watch you with lit irises. Look, that's a pretty cool picture, isn't it? One's like yours. Their torn face reveals no emotion. They pose crouched, coiled even, like a spring ready to strike. You are both frozen, unsure, afraid. Nothing moves. Your eyes trace the damage to their suit, to their body. They look broken, worn down, and you wonder if this is how you look to others. If they flinch, they see you, as you feel the need to now. Carmen! Xander's panicked voice cuts through the silence. He rushes forward to the floating body, and as he does, the other sleeper pulls away from the wall like a statue coming to life. For a moment you go to intervene to save Xander from this skeletal figure, but the sleeper falls on Xander to embrace him, and Xander returns the hug. You float stunned, watching as Xander begins to carry Carmen's body from the cave, with Flint, the sleeper, guiding him. Carmen is stable. Cadence comes out from the room that has become a makeshift medbay. She looks between you and Seraphine. Thanks to you. And Flint? Cadence pauses, choosing her answer carefully. Flint is in there with Carmen. They seem to be functional. She looks away. If that's what you mean. We should head back to Olivera. Seraphine cuts in. He places a hand on your shoulder and steers you away towards the cockpit. Once you are out of earshot, Seraphine turns to you. Did you know Flint was a sleeper? No. Seraphine nods. He pauses. I don't want to be suspicious. I was just surprised, that's all. Seraphine glances back towards the medbay. They look different. What do you mean? I don't know. He sighs. Just something I wish they'd mentioned. I'll go get her started up. He pats you on the shoulder and heads to the cockpit. Let's keep an eye on them, okay? He leaves you floating in the corridor, unsure what to think. Flint is the first sleeper you have met since you escaped the program, and at this point, those memories are little more than fragments and fictions. As the rumble of the drive runs through the ship, you can't help but feel little concern for what this might mean. Let's get out of here! You are left alone with Xander and Seraphine in the dock while Carmen is carefully carried from the rig by Flint, guided away into one of Oliveira's many tunnels and passages. Okay, I believe you. Xander shrugs his shoulders. Seraphine raises an eyebrow. Believe us how? That you aren't saboteurs. He shoots you a sheepish grin. Although, you never know. I appreciate that. No problem. He nods to you with the kind of seriousness that only children possess. Tell me, kid. Seraphine folds his arms. Why are you so protective of this place? I mean, no offense, but who'd want to sabotage a tin pot colony in the middle of the shoals? Xander bristles at the comment, but controls his anger. You don't get it. Oliveira is a refuge. Why do you think we're hiding all the way out here? He glances at you and then back at Seraphine. I would have thought you'd understand what's at stake here. You've seen Flint. Seraphine pauses, unsure of how to respond. He looks embarrassed into silence. Look, Xander says, playing the peacemaker. You brought Carmen back to us. Everyone in Oliveira will thank you for that. How about you stick around for a bit? Get a feel for the place. If you need to resupply, we can help. We haven't got much, but if you chip in, you'll get your share. He bows his head a little. We're more welcoming than we appear. Don't expect to buy anything with those chits of yours. Xander puts his hand on his hips. Oliveira is not for sale. Seraphine shrugs. Alright, kid, He glances at you. We appreciate it. We need to hang around until Carmen is back up and awake anyway, and I think we'll be glad of the rest. I'll see you around then. Xander touches his brow in a salute, and then kicks away, floating out of the docks. Seraphine turns to you. A little shore leave doesn't sound so bad. I agree. Seraphine smiles. Alright then. He stretches. I'm going to head into town and see what's happening. He winks and glides away, into Oliveira proper. You are left floating in the docks, unsure of what comes next. It doesn't seem like Lane is going to find you out here, so maybe this is the perfect time to take a breather, at least until you bring Ankita's drive to Carmen. You turn that little thumbnail drive over in your pocket. Time to see what Oliveira has to offer. This recording that I'm doing now is the next day from the last clip you just saw. Apologies if the audio sounds a little different. I'm still messing around with things, but last night I was using the noise suppression filter on OBS, but it seems to because I had my tumble dryer on in the background, it seems to cut off the first sort of split second of a sentence or the last bit. It sounds a little choppy, so I've turned the filter off so it sounds a little bit better, but also obviously it picks up stuff in the background, but I don't have my tumble dryer on this morning. So anyway, let's jump in. As you leave the rig, you find a figure waiting for you in the docking tunnel. You think of Xander's hostile greeting when you first arrived. Is that him again? Look at Flint. All banged up. Where are you headed? Flint leans away from the wall, now out of the battered suit you first saw them in. The damage to their frame is concealed beneath their overalls, but you're still aware of it, just beneath the surface. I don't even know where we're heading. Hydro refinery? Same. Flint nods in the direction of the colony. I'll join you. You float together through the docks in silence. Flint makes you nervous, and their insistence on intercepting you this cycle hasn't exactly calmed the sensation. Breaking the silence eventually becomes unavoidable. Why Flint? Flint stirs ahead, continuing their glide. Ask Carmen. He insisted on it. The mention of Carmen's name recalls the image of him floating unconscious in the light of your work lamps in those deep and winding caves. You suppress the shudder. Flint gives you a sideways look, their mask-like face betraying no emotion. It's good you found us. They pause as you both move through a doorway. Could have been sooner. They blink, but better than nothing. Looking at Flint gives you an unsettling feeling, like catching your own reflection in a polished hull plate. Is this what others feel like when they speak with you? Watching the crooked mask, the lit irises, for signs of human emotion? Interpreting the stuttering emulations of facial expressions as they cross your doll-like face? Flint turns away again, and you realise that they might feel the same looking at you. Each the other's mirror. Each reminding the other of the gap between being and being seen. What happened out there? Flint pauses. I made a mistake. One I won't make again. They frown and stir forward, offering nothing more. You arrive together at the main bay of the hydro refinery. The space filled with tanks and ornate patterns and pipes and ducts. So Sleeper. Flint's face curls in amusement as he uses the mononym everyone refers to you by. Oliveira asks all of those it harbours to contribute to the colony. Show me what you can do. You and Flint join the huddled workers as they assign roles, each person given a task in the process of refining gas and liquid into usable fuel, diverting the runoff, monitoring the electrolyzer, feeding the system. The refinery is dotted with glowing terminals, and raw data feeds scroll across them at near unreadable speeds. Precision is key, and you find yourself quickly disappearing into the detail of the work. The refinery is built from spurs, run on homebrew systems, but this openness allows you to tinker and tweak almost every component. The data spools, the cathodes pulse, and the fuel gathers in the tanks. You step back to take a rest, watching the systems spin on, perfectly balanced. Something makes you look to one side, a glint that catches your eye, and there is Flint, taking a rest of their own. You see a light glint again, Flint turning something over the fingers, watching it spin, a vial of stabilizer. My last vial. Flint speaks without taking their eyes off the drug. Even through the haze of your lost memories, you can recall the fizzing, sickening pulse of that injection, the dependence your reboot freed you from. Saving it for a special occasion, Flint pockets the vial and meets your eye. You don't need a stabilizer, do you? Flint moves away from the wall they were resting against. I noticed you were different from the first moment we met, but I didn't realise what it was until now. The way you work, the way you move. Without dependence. I see it now. Flint folds their arms. Don't respond. And yet, Flint continues, you aren't looking so good yourself. They move a little closer. There's something wrong with you. More than just your decaying frame. Your signal, your presence. It smells different. It's none of your concern. You see, Sleeper. It is. Flint looks out at the workers. I know who I am. What I bring to this place. All of these people are at risk because of me. That means you too are a risk. A risk to your crew, to me, and more importantly, to this place. And that is very much my concern. Oliveira will welcome you, just as it welcomed me. Flint stretches. And it will do so in spite of itself and its own safety. I want you to know that. Because they will pay the cost. Those close to you. And you must know that they pay it for you. With that, Flint turns and glides away, leaving no space for your response. You watch them leave, the billowing cloak revealing the concealing revealing and concealing the glinting and ragged parts of their exposed skeleton as they go. Okie dokie. One dice, great. I thought I had some of these. Crap. It was just scrap components. Shit. Wait, let's see if I can buy something. Let's see what this turns up. Just scrap components again. Supplies. Fuel. Food. God, that's not good at all. So if I repair another dice with this, does that mean my glitch meter goes into the red? No. Thankfully. Ah crap, I've no food. Shit. The sound of Ray's voices echoes through the tunnel. Following them, you find yourself at the entrance to the clinic, where Flint and Xander are locked in a bitter argument. I won't take you out there, Flint. Xander is pleading with the sleeper. Look what happened to Carmen. They'll kill you. What happened to Carmen is exactly why I have to go. They will find me here, and when that happens, the whole colony can hear you two. Seraphine comes out of the clinic with Cadence. You're trying to wake up Carmen. You see Seraphine clock you standing in the passageway. Your eyes meet and Seraphine looks away. Neither of you have seen each other since you brought Carmen back to Oliveira. I'm trying to make sure what happened to Carmen doesn't happen to anyone else. Flint folds his arms. I'm the reason he is like he is, and that means it's on me to fix it. What are you talking about? You catch Flint off guard. They hadn't seen you waiting in the passageway. S and ARP came for me. That's what happened out in the debris field. They looked down. You know what that means. S and ARP, the company that created you. The company you escaped. The idea of them bearing down on this place sets your nerves on edge. You have long since slipped their grasp. Lane disabled your tracker in exchange for unwavering service. A gift that became a trap. But Flint is still on the run. And if S and ARP attacked Carmen's ship, they can't be far away. You look at Flint and see the fear in their eyes. Your tracker is still active. Oliver is shrouded. Flint looks towards the center of the colony. Carmen managed to get hold of a signal shroud and set it up here. He wanted to keep everyone safe. There's no way S and ARP can track me here. Am I missing something? Seraphine interrupts. If they can't find you here, what's the problem? It's not just about the tracker. That hunter found me in the debris field. They know I escaped. It's only a matter of time before their search brings them here. Silence falls on the group as the inevitable of the problem sets in. Xander looks distraught. You can't find Flint. You can't, Flint, Xander says in a quiet voice. They'll kill you. Seraphine glances at you and Flint in turn, and you see his mind working on a solution. He looks away, frowning. I'm sorry, Xander. This is how it is. Flint looks dejected. Unless we get them first. Seraphine smiles an impish smile. Seraphine, what are you talking about? Caden speaks up for the first time. We know there is a hunter out there, scouring the shoals. And we know they are looking for you, Flint. Seraphine shrugs. That means we have the upper hand. We don't need to bring them here. We can bring them anywhere we want. Seraphine looks around to the group. So we get set. We prepare a little surprise. And then we wait. Flint is already shaking their head. The hunter could arrive here at any moment. We don't have time for this. If I had a ship, I would have left already. Then we move you now. We take you somewhere we can prepare. And we work hard and fast to get an ambush set. When the hunter comes, Seraphine grins. We spring the trap. What kind of trap? That we still have to figure out. Seraphine admits. But you have to admit, it beats going out to die without a plan. He shoots Flint a look. And hey, if we fail, the outcome will be the same anyway. Flint doesn't respond immediately. You can see them thinking it through, considering their options. I'm coming. Xander has a determined look on his face. We're doing this, and I'm coming. Look, kid, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but this is the real thing. A bounty hunter is not going to... Stop patronizing me. Xander cuts him off. I know the shoals, you need me out there. The conversation suddenly devolves into many small arguments. The location, who should go, how to approach the ambush. The noise grows. The old Solheim manufactory. Cadence's voice rises clear and precise through the noise. That's where you do it. It's on a rock far enough from here, and it's a real labyrinth. You can lead the hunter there and get them lost inside. Cadence's eyes are bright and determined. The place is full of old machines, ordnance. We've been afraid to scavenge any of it. It's so unstable. You notice Seraphine watching Cadence speak, clearly impressed by this sudden shift towards decisive action. We could bring the whole place down on their head. Xander picks up Cadence's thread. I know the manufactory. It's a good idea. You look between those gathered. Seraphine, stubborn and protective. Cadence's sharp eyes. Xander's relentless desire to get involved. And Flint, a sleeper like you. A sleeper in need of an escape. Carmen was building something here. A shrouded haven. A place that needs protecting. He may be unconscious behind those doors, floating amongst the wires and tubes of the clinic, but something of him is here, in this group, making a plan of resistance. Flint's eyes meet yours, and you know what has to be done. The rig will leave Oliveira this cycle. You have a hunter to trap. So can I head out? I actually can. But I'll need fuel and supplies. Get rid of some of this stress, hopefully. Try again. Okay. Get him to scavenge supplies. Oh, I have to go now. I only have 2 supplies though. Oh, fuck. There's nothing I can do about it, is there? I just gotta head out of there. Who do I want? I don't know who would be suited for it, but... we had Bliss on the last one. Let's take Junie and Nia. This isn't good. I've got 2 glitched dice. Corroded plates, twisted struts, scattered scrap. The manufactory makes for a familiar sight. Just one more ragged artifact from the corporation that once owned this system. Despite that, something about it sets you on edge. Perhaps because it is also with form the crucible for your attempt to take on the Essen Art Hunter. The kind whose entire job is to bring an escaped sleeper escaped sleepers like you, dead or alive. The rig is tucked behind a rock, running on low power with its transponder off. You hope that's enough not to draw attention. So talk us through it. Seraphine turns back to Flint, Cadence and Xander, all of whom are cramped into the cockpit along with your crew. We have to make this place look like a colony. That is what the hunter will expect. Cadence suggests first, her voice quavering a little with... Quivering? With a little anxiety. We can seal up some of the holes, maybe install some lighting, fake it up. Okay, Seraphine nods reassuringly. That's good. What then? We force them to go deep. Xander cuts in, and everyone looks at him. He pauses, a little intimidated by the attention, but Flint nods at him to continue. I've been out here before, on a salvage run. There's an assembly line that runs through the whole place, filled with old manufacturing machines. We seal doors, activate machines, make a maze of malfunctioning construction arms and dead ends. Alright then, control their route. I like it. Seraphine smiles at Xander. And if we get lucky, maybe one of those old machines will do the job for us. I doubt it. Flint joins in. We'll need the ordnance from the silos, mining charges, fuel, whatever is left from when this place was churning out Solheim goods. They furrow their brow. We blow the place, to make sure. A silence passes through the cockpit, the danger of what you are about to attempt dawning on everyone present. Okay, Seraphine has a dark look. That's the plan. We can detonate the ordnance with a command from the rig, a simple wideband comm signal. We'll get them. Seraphine pats Flint on the shoulder. Once you go in, the hunter isn't coming back out. He turns to you. Anything we missed? What if they don't take the bait? Then I engage. Flint rubs their hands together nervously. I lead them in directly, right? Right. Seraphine confirms grimly. How long do we think we have? There's a lot of factory down there. The hunter got to me and Carmen fast. Flint looks out of the cockpit. No more than 3 cycles. When the hunter came for us, Flint grimaces, remembering the attack on Carmen's ship. They came out of nowhere, hit us hard and fast. If it wasn't for Carmen, we need to be ready for anything. Flint looks at you. It won't be a warning. Seraphine sighs. Nice pep talk. Flint, you better find somewhere deep in that place. Down in the bedrock. But make sure it has a back door, okay? He nods at the sleeper. The rest of us will get to work. Alright, you heard Flint. We do this and we do it right. We make our stand on this rock. Let's not waste a moment more. Okie dokie, man. Cycle clock. You mark that. Only 3 cycles though. So I do well here. Nia does okay there. Nice. And Junie does okay here. And Nia does okay here. But Nia's got bad dice. For God's sake. I'm gonna have to use my bad dice. Great. Wait. Are they all danger? This one's risky, but... Let's use Junie's dice. I'm gonna use my glitch dice here. Great. I'm gonna be starving by the end of this as well. Which is a shame because I've got so much money that I couldn't even spend at the last place. I'm gonna spend my glitch dice here again. Nice. Go easy with that. Flint's voice rumbles over the local comms as you secure the final piece of ordnance. You turn to see them floating, backlit, in the entrance of the bay. One of many that you have rigged with ordnance deep in the manufactory. Down here, dust and flecks of rust float through the beams of your lights, and the walls are bent and buckled. They've spent the past cycles here, picking out a spot to draw the hunter down to. One they should be able to slip out of when the hunter finds their way in. It's a long time to be down in these dark tunnels waiting. Looks like we are just about done. The voice is flat, the tone pragmatic. We are. Flint nods. Good. Flint glides into the bay slowly. There's something I need to tell you, something I think you'll understand. What we are doing out here is not about saving me, it's about Olivera. You struggle to see Flint's face with the light behind them. I should be on a ship out of here, leading this hunter away, but they won't let me do that. They shake their head in frustration. And even if they would, they can't spur the ship, Not after Carmen's got shot up. That was my mistake. I never should have let him persuade me to come with him on that supply run. Flint looks down. What's done is done. What matters now, what I need from you is a promise. Flint's bright irises flash. That you'll bring this place down with me in it, if it means stopping the hunter. I promise. Flint nods. I knew you'd understand. You know as well as I that those who get close to us are at risk. That we as sleepers have to recognise what we open the door to. Carmen is my fault. I won't be Oliveira's downfall too. With that, they turn and leave you in the dark. Let's use Junie's dice first. Give me 2. Nice. Just gotta get a drink of water. Just 1 sec. That's better. Rehydrate. You float for a moment, observing the chaos of the old assembly line. The scale of the structure, the number of machines, the arms and fabricators, the welders and bolters, suggest industry on a scale that you have never witnessed. The Heliod system, a system that now subsists on the leftovers of its failed corporate owners, was once filled with manufactories like this, churning out components and technologies, machines and resources for extracting the valuable materials and minerals that Solheim existed to amass. If someone was able to rebuild one of these places, put it back into operation, imagine what could be fed into the belt, what changes could come for its people. Yet, no one will undertake such a task because this place is haunted by the spectre of Solheim, an entity that every being in this system can trace their origins back to. An entity that turned the entire system into a manufactory, a machine for accumulation. And that did not distinguish between human and machines as it did. You look at the broken machines, worn down and rusted, crippled and bent. Some of them have been put back into use this past cycle as part of your plan. And those jerk or turn, randomly, blindly groping for components that will never be fed to them. None of them are sentient machines like you, and so they cannot feed or think, and yet you cannot decide if for them to persist is a kind of cruelty that radiates from the system that created them, or the indication of a new life, one that grants them new function, new meaning, and the possibility of something more. Creepy, right? Xander floats beside you, his voice hissing through the close-range comms. Maybe the hunter will get spooked by those twitching arms. He imitates the scattered movements of the factory machines. I doubt it. I'm just messing. Those things wouldn't even scare Cadence. So, Xander gives you a look. How come this hunter isn't chasing you? My tracker is deactivated. Huh? Xander shoots you a look. Lucky you. Who did that? Doesn't matter. Maybe not to you, but he could change everything for Flint. Let's focus on the hunter. Xander nods quietly. Xander looks out at the assembly line and sighs. I like Flint. I'm happy to do this for them. He turns back to you. And I want to like you too. So don't mess this up, alright? Xander gives you a hard look. Don't let Flint down. Xander kicks off and glides towards the exit without waiting for a response. You watch him go for a moment before turning away. There's still so much to do. Don't know what difference it'll make if I try to use the crappy dice. Let's use Nia's dice there. No point using Junie's. You know, Caden's voice comes over the comms, shimmering with interference. From here it doesn't look half bad. You look across the shell of the manufactory, now studded with lights and dotted with markings, the fresh welds and plates giving the whole place a fragile patchwork feeling. If I was a piece of shit hunter, this is what I'd think a normal person's settlement would look like, right? We better... Right. Click the wrong one. Cadence goes quiet for a moment, her attempt at humour only serving to remind you both of the desperate circumstances. Have you spoken to Flint? Cadence pauses. I mean, really spoken? We've spoken enough. Right. Cadence searches for a response. Flint is very loyal. I know they are quiet and, well, intense, but... She sighs. I just hope you two can find some common ground. We get on just fine. Of course. Sorry. Cadence stops again. Olivera is a refuge. Cadence takes a breath. For all of us. I was in trouble when I met Carmen. We all were, in one way or another. Seraphin has told me a lot about you. Cadence hesitates. And I can see what you are trying to do for Flint, for Olivera. Let her finish. I appreciate it. And I know Xander does. And Carmen will do as well. And Flint. Cadence pauses. Well, you'll see. The comms click off, returning you to the silence of the manufactory. You look out across the false colony at the glittering lights. They are a poor imitation of Olivera's real lights, those that indicate the colony's fragile, delicate state. You shake it off and move on. This isn't over yet. I'm out of supplies though, man. Give me some food. Not good. Wake up, sleeper. Seraphin is in the bunks. We've got incoming. You shake off the haze of forgotten dreams and get up. In moments you are in the cockpit. Xander, Cadence and Seraphin all gathered around the console. On it, the local view shows nothing, not a single ship signal, a few objects beyond a scattering of debris. It was right here, I swear it. Seraphin jabs at the screen. A ship, small but definitely a ship. Seraphin. Cadence sighs. We've all been up a while, get some rest. I know what I saw. He catches her eye. You look at the screen, its gridded view showing the scattered signature of debris, like schools of fish drifting in a soft current. The manufactory is a noisy blob at the centre of the circle, one that dissolves into the background of its edges. Nothing. And then there it is, a flicker, a flash, a spark of movement, and a light among one of the debris clouds. It flares and then is gone again. You look up at Seraphin, meets your eye. You look up and Seraphin meets your eye. He reads your expression immediately. Seraphin slams a hand down on the console, opening the comms channel. Look alive, Flint. They're coming in. Go deep and be ready to run. He pulls his hand off the switch. We better hope they heard that. Then you see it through the cockpit glass. The flare of an engine, faint and massed, but driving a squat. Dark ship out of the debris. The Hunter. The ship seems to idle a little near the manufactory's asteroid, drifting past the dressed up shell of the old facility. Time to see if our fake colony is convincing enough. Cadence nervously clasped her hands together. Will they buy it? They better. Seraphine looks concerned, because if they think this place looks abandoned, the hunter might just strafe the whole facility. Seraphine swallows hard. We need them to dock, to come inside. You look out of the ship, and as you do, it jumps forward, towards the docking tower. You watch a few tense moments as it hesitates, and then slides into position onto one of the docking bridges. Cadence sighs in relief. They went for it. Seraphine pats you on the shoulder. Good job. The rat is in the maze. We can track them now. He exhales. At least that's the theory. I hooked up some basic monitoring devices in the assembly line. Xander calls over from another console. A few shitty cameras repurposed from the factory monitoring systems. Not much, but hopefully enough to tell us where they are at. Cadence, Seraphine and you crowd around the screen. Xander flicks between noisy black and white images and feeds of static. You squint into the fizzing dark, trying to pick out any detail. Then suddenly you see them. Ooh. So they're sleeper. That's a sleeper too then. A shadow drifting beneath a flickering light. Dark cladding military gear. A long gun held ready at their shoulder. Deathly pale skin. And in their eyes, gleaming through the faceplate, glowing irises. Who the hell is that? Seraphine pulls back from the screen. They look like a sleeper. Xander finishes Seraphine's sentence. The figure disappears outside the margins of the frame and Xander flicks through the feeds. Where did they go? You drift back from the screen, trying to think straight. The hunter is a sleeper, or something else. You replay the image of the figure in your mind, but it has already shifted in your memory. It is your face stirring back. It is Flint's. It is the sleeper's mask of death. Sleeper, Seraphine grabs you both Seraphine grabs you by both shoulders and looks you in the eye. We need to focus. We should get down there. Xander's eyes are wide. This changes things. This changes nothing. Seraphine nods. We wait for Flint's signal. We hold here. The ordnance is in place. Seraphine looks at you for reassurance. The moment we get the signal, we blow it. You think of the mining charges rigged in daisy chains, the fuel barrels lashed to detonators, the command code ready to transmit from the rig. Seraphine sees the determination in your eyes. We hold. So you wait. Cadence's eyes on the manufactory below. Xander tapping at the glass. Seraphine perched by the console, listening for the signal. Then you hear it. The hiss of an open comms channel. You look to Seraphine and he hears it. It too. A static haze that fills the cockpit. You all go still. Seraphine nods an indicator on the console. It's Flint's channel. A click. A scrape. Then silence. Seraphine frowns, tapping at the controls. What? He scrolls. Flint's transceiver is gone. It's dead. Panic hits the cockpit. Xander gliding over to the console. Cadence going pale. Sleeper. Seraphine turns and looks back over his shoulder towards you. We need to go in. Go. Cadence looks between you, Seraphine and Xander with a steely expression. I'll stay here. She glances nervously at the console. Give me the signal and I'll send the detonation signal. She swallows hard. If it works. Seraphine looks torn for a moment and then nods. Let's go. You rush down to the airlock and suit up with the others. And then you are out, descending through the rock-strewn void in tense silence. You enter the manufactory through a gap in the frame, passing through layers of twisted facility into the deep parts where you know Flint waits in the dark. You say nothing to each other, afraid the comms will be intercepted. You lead Xander and Seraphine on, seeking the deep bays under the silos where you began setting up the ordnance. Though unfinished, perhaps there is enough down there for this to work. If not, Seraphine's hand falls on your shoulder, pulling you back. You go to speak and then you see it, a torch beam lancing through the dark. The hunter, as you saw them on the grainy footage of Xander's cameras, but real now, just below, a long gun held ready at their shoulder, pushing through the dark and broken layers of the facility, seeking Flint. Seraphine, Xander and you exchange wide-eyed glances in silence. The hunter passes below, disappearing into a dark passage. You wait together, the moment stretching out, then descend down into the same passage. The silence is absolute. Suddenly there is a flash of light ahead, bright and forceful, and a rumble that shakes rust flakes from the walls. Xander pushes off hard, launching past you into the darkness. Seraphine goes too, and you instinctively glide forward as another rumble shakes the foundations of the facility. You come into a low bay scattered with glowing embers. Scorched holes in the walls spew drops of red hot metal, where a weapon has been discharged. The hunter floats at the centre, taking aim again, and you see a flicker of movement on the far side. Flint retreating. Before you can act, a slight figure in a suit slams into the back of the hunter, Xander. As he hits, the hunter's gun spins out of their hand. Rush the hunter. You slam into the hunter, lashing out with your fist. The hunter strikes back and you almost lose your grip on them, but you feel Xander at your side, striking out too. The three of you spin through the spark-filled bay, towards a gaping dark shaft at its far side. The hunter, dazed from the blows, kicks out against the two of you, sending themselves spinning away, the torch slipping from their grip and arcing across the bay. As it does, they fall back, unable to find anything to slow their glide, spinning into the dark. The hunter disappears down the shaft as you and Xander drift back into the bay. I've got it. Seraphine. Sorry, let me restart. I've got Flint. Seraphine calls over the local comms. We ascend, now. You look across the two of them, kicking off from the floor of the bay towards a ragged hole in the ceiling. You and Xander exchange a single glance, then follow. Cadence? Seraphine is in the wideband. Detonate this place now. Send the command. There is silence. You ascend through it, through the layers of the manufactory, seeking the open void of space beyond. You clear the manufactory, gliding into open space. A silent shockwave, like a gust of winds, runs through the void. The silent rumble spits out a scatter of debris. You turn back, still gliding towards the ship, and see the shattered manufactory. Whole sections are bending outward, the framework shredded, plating tumbling away in shards. You look across at Seraphine and Flint, their eyes set on the ship, trying only to stay ahead of the debris. You do the same, fixing your attention on the rig and nothing else. The hunter is dead. So can we leave or what? Do we leave? I guess I've got to leave. I don't have any supplies, so... So the hunter's dealt with. The hunter is dead. So... Well... I can take a little more stress, but... I don't know if this is going to achieve anything. I'll just end one cycle here and see what happens. Alright. Leave the contract. Contract concluded. Okay. I should have read that properly. We limp back to Oliveira. The mood in the rig, one of deep exhaustion, but as the colony appears, visible from the cockpit, the satisfaction of having run a terrifying gauntlet
and come back in one piece shifts the mood. The crew's improved mood only becomes more obvious as you draw closer to Oliveira. As you come into dock with the colony, you feel a wave of relief. Seraphim pats you on the shoulder as you both wait for the airlock to open. That hunter, he sighs. SNARP is crueler than I could have imagined. It doesn't surprise me. It's a nasty logic. Send a sleeper to catch a sleeper. Seraphim shakes his head. I'm glad we bought Flint some freedom. The airlock hisses open, revealing the docking bridge where Xander first confronted you. This time, another more substantial figure waits in the passage. There's Carmen. I hear they're the ones I should be thanking for saving my life. Carmen leans against the side of the tunnel, one arm clamped against the waist. So, thank you. He nods at the two of you. We have things to discuss. I'm sure we do. He smiles slyly, but let's not do that in a docking tunnel, shall we? Carmen! Cadence rushes past the two of you, gliding into Carmen's with an embrace strong enough to leave the injured man off balance. Alright, careful. You don't want to put me back in the med bay now, do you? Carmen pushes Cadence back with a gentle grip on her shoulders. He flinches as he does, his jaw clearly holding some truth. Sorry, Cadence smiles. Just glad to see you up. Go on then, Charlie. Up. Up. There we go. There's me to up upper. A frown crosses Carmen's face. Where's Xander? You losing your vision, old man? You look back to see Xander and Flint behind you in the tunnel. Xander smiles widely at Carmen, betraying his happiness to see him. I'll be just fine, Xan. Carmen's words are confident, but his tone suggests he isn't convinced. You notice his hands are tightly balled into fists, as if resisting pain, and wondering if he should really be up at all. Carmen turns back to you and Seraphim. I think we need to talk. How about you two and Flint accompany me to the medbay? Carmen winks. Flint pauses, but Flint pushes past you both and goes to Carmen, helping him out of the tunnel. As he does, they exchange a few words, but you are too far away to make them out. You and Seraphim exchange glances and follow behind them, into Oliveira. Carmen leads you into a small recovery chamber in the medbay, where his bed is set up. A handful of tubes and wires float gently beside it, attached to boxy devices. Flint has already left the group, leaving just you and Seraphim with Oliveira's injured founder. Carmen meets your eye with a hard look. So how did the two of you end up stumbling onto our colony in the shoals? He raises an eyebrow, because we're not usually open to visitors. Ankita sent us to you. You see the flicker of recognition in Carmen's eyes when you mention Ankita. You produce the thumbnail drive, holding it out for Carmen to inspect. She told Sleeper to deliver this to you, and you alone. Seraphim folds his arms. Carmen pauses thoughtfully. That's a name I have not heard for a while. He takes the drive. It seems I should thank you again, he sighs, and perhaps I owe you some explanation myself. Ankita and I used to work together, a lifetime ago. Carmen shakes his head. We went our separate ways. But then she turned back up in Oliveira. I established this colony as a refuge, a way of starting again. Carmen clasps his hands together. The belt is changing, and I am afraid of what is coming. Ankita took refuge here for a short while, and then one cycle she was gone. Carmen shrugs. It's not unusual for her. Each of us has our own demons. He holds up the drive. I will take a look at what's on here, when I am able. He looks at the drive with concern, and I will let you know what I find. You and Seraphim thank him and leave the chamber as he settles back on his recovery bed. As you leave, Flint catches your attention. Can we speak? Seraphim pauses. I'll catch you back on the rig. He looks between the two of you, and then glides away. Flint hovers, a look of concern on his mask-like face. What do you need? Flint gives you a curious look. You don't remember any of it, do you? Any of what? Of how you got here? Of your history? Flint screws up their face in a pained expression. At first I thought you were hiding something, or you were intentionally avoiding the subject, so I waited. But I understand it now. You don't remember me at all. You take a moment to think, to try to recall Flint. You furrow your brow in frustration, sifting through hazy memories of Darkside, and further back, and your arrival to the belt. You close your eyes and see the faces of other sleepers, panicked, desperate, in darkness. I don't remember. We worked together, in the same Essent Art mining installation, along with the other sleepers. He searches your eyes for a spark of recognition. We weren't close. I'm not sure we really spoke. Very few of us did. But I was there when we planned the escape together. The run to the freighter. Collapsing the mine shaft. Flint stops, struggling to continue the face the blank look you are giving them. You feel an unpleasant itch, as if something is crawling around inside your skull. You can see that Flint wants you to recall them, to recall the escape, the installation, but you find only hazy sensations, and beneath them, pain. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to... Flint looks down. I know you can't help it. I just needed to say something. To know if you really don't remember. Thank you for everything you have done for me. And for Olivera. Flint turns and drifts away dejectedly, unable to continue. As you watch Flint go, you scratch at the side of your head, trying to find something in the way they move, the way they speak, the mask-like face. A face that was identical to yours when it was first cast, but that, over cycle after cycle of wear and damage, has been transformed. Two machines so close in form and function, estranged by experience. Okie McDokie, son! So I need a total of 6 more points. 8 in total, and then I can be fully upgraded on my skills, which is totes amazeballs. Need a little bit of that food, man. Little bit of that little bit of boom food. I've no supplies though, man. Damn. Let's get rid of some of this stress. What else is there to be done here? I'm probably going to need fuel. Plot unavailable. Seraphine is not ready to leave the current location. You cannot know until he is. Okay. Need to repair a dice, don't I? Ah! Let's get some supplies. Ah, it's pointless though because I've got such a low dice. Let's get some fuel then. Thanks for coming up, Sleeper. Carmen is waiting for you and Seraphine when you arrive at the med bay, looking a lot fresher. He leads you into a small alcove set up like an office. with an aging terminal on a simple welded desk and a small window looking out across the dusty rock of Oliveira. Got some news for us? Seraphin asked impatiently. Since you arrived back from the manufactory, he has been restless, though you aren't sure why. Not to worry, Carmen grins slyly. I think you'll want to hear this. He hits a key on the terminal, and a file browser appears on the screen, showing hundreds of individual pieces of data. Ankita has been busy. Carmen gestures to the screen. She's been scraping Utsubo communications cycle after cycle. Got access to ciphers and encryptions that only the gang's leadership should be able to see. He smiles. It seems she's learned some tricks since we worked together. But that's not what matters. What matters is the content of these messages. He taps a few keys and loads some of the data, which scrolls down the screen. Some parts of Utsubo leadership have been getting ideas. Ideas about taking Greenbelt and controlling food production in the belt. About exerting power over Wellspring. Big ideas for a gang. But these Utsubo members aren't alone. They found themselves a powerful ally. Carmen shakes his head. Senate Stat. One of two corporations fighting a bitter battle for control of the inner system. A Pernicus force. One that Utsubo are opening a door for in the belt. You can't be serious. Seraphin cuts in. They can't be that stupid. I don't know what to tell you. At least someone inside Utsubo is trying to broker a partnership. Who? Seraphin leads over to look at the screen. You don't need Carmen's answer, and neither does Seraphin. Lane. Seraphin looks up at you, shaking his head. It has to be Lane. Carmen looks between you both. Seems like you already know something I don't. Lane is a piece of shit Utsubo leader who thinks he owns us. Seraphin shakes his head. Exactly the kind of shit arrogant enough. Exactly the kind of piece of shit arrogant enough to try to manipulate Senate Stat. Carmen nods thoughtfully. My condolences. I'm stirring to see how you cross paths with Ankita. We have a shared enemy then. Carmen pauses, his face unmoving. I'm not sure you want this fight, Sleeper. Like I said, Ankita and I worked together. To put it simply, we ran in the same mercenary outfit. Carmen looks away. A lot has happened since then. But this message, this data, it's her calling in a favour. And I owe her, that's for sure. Carmen shakes his head and pushes himself off from the desk, crossing the room to look out the window at Oliveira's pale and airless surface. Hell, after what went down, I owe you both too. Look at Carmen staring out at the surface of this hostile rock. I wonder what he sees out there. He established the colony as a fallback, a retreat, not just for him, for others too. You get the feeling that Carmen knows any retreat is only ever temporary. He turns back to look at you. And you, Sleeper, what will you do? We will take on Utsubo. Take on a gang? Carmen smiles. Are you sure about that? We are going to end Lane. Whatever it takes. Seraphin stares down at Carmen, fist balled. Carmen looks at you. That one is going to get you in trouble. He turns to Seraphin. But I like that energy. He looks back out the window. This is not something we are going to take head on. He shakes his head. Ankita centers our weapon. Carmen turns and gestures at the console screen, with its reams of incriminating data. Utsubo don't control all of Darkseid. They only aspire to. They also claim to offer protection from the war between Senate Stat and Conway. That presents us with an opportunity. Utsubo is full of members who'd rather die than concede Darkseid to a corporate interest. We play this right. Utsubo will end Lane for us. He smiles at Seraphin. To use your phrase. How do we do it? We can handle it. We've cracked Darkseid once. We can do it again. Seraphin's confidence is infectious. Is that right? Carmen seems to be thinking something through. He crosses the console, back to the window. and then to the console once more. Alright, I'm going to need some time, but I can put this together. Carmen nods at Seraphim. We'll need that energy, but you also need to be ready. We rush this, it's not going to end well. So I can wait. Carmen turns his attention to you. We'll go from Greenbelt when you are ready. I have friends there who can help get that ship of yours into Darkside. Seraphim looks at you. We have our own preparations to make, but we'll be ready. Alright. Carmen unplugs Ankita's drive and hands it to you. Take this, and get it out of here. I don't want anyone finding this thing in my possession. Oh god, one of the dogs has farted. Girls, you could kill my plant with that. You take it. The tiny drive somehow heavier now that you know it contains the key to exposing Lane. See you in Greenbelt. I'll see you in the wheat sheaf. Carmen smiles to himself. They know me there. Just understand something. Carmen's expression turns serious. You want my help on this? There's no way we can let it get back to the colony. Once you leave here, you're not coming back to Oliveira. Not until we are done. He meets your eye. He needs confirmation that you recognize the importance of this. I understand. Carmen nods. Then you can go. He returns to the window to stare at whatever it is he sees out there, among the dusty rocks. When you come back to the rig, Flint is waiting for you. Major drive complete. Nice. Leaning by the docking tunnel with a bag over his shoulder. They look up as you approach. Hey. Flint nods a greeting, appearing a little unsure. Hey. I know you've already done a lot for me, so I'm not going to push you or ask for your pity. They pause. You feel like they have been preparing this speech. Firstly, I owe you, and I want to pay you back. I can work and I can fight, and I will protect this ship and this crew with everything I have. Secondly, we come from the same place, and whether you remember it or not, that means something. It must. I know I'm not the easiest to get on with. I know you might have your reservations about another sleeper on the ship, but... Let him finish. I'm eager. I'm ready. I want to move on and I want to show my value. They pause. And well, yeah. I think that's it. You look at Flint. The frame's so much more damaged than yours, but with a fire burning in their eyes that makes them seem bigger than they are. Welcome aboard. A smile spreads across Flint's face, and look down to hide it. Thank you, they say to the floor. This'll work out. You'll see. Flint nods to you once more, and turns and glides down the docking tunnel towards the ship. As they do, two figures at the edge of the docking concourse catch your eye. You pause to look, shifting a little, and as you do, you recognize Cadence leaning. Some words are exchanged, ones you can only guess at, and then the other figure embraces Cadence and turns back to the ship. As Seraphim approaches, he ducks his head, passing quietly past you into the docking tunnel without a word. You take one last look at the docks, but Cadence is gone. You idle a moment longer and feel that there's something, some presence, even in these empty bays, something rare in all the belt that Oliveira has captured. But as with all things, you must learn to leave it behind. So we've got, including Seraphim, so Seraphim 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crew members. Let's upgrade. Looking good. So what do I need? I need to go back to here because I needed to waste some time. I needed to waste like 6 cycles. Let's just have a look where else we need to go. Return to Greenbelt. So we've got to go to Greenbelt anyway, don't we? Okay. Investigate Hex Port. But we can't go there yet, can we? Overthrow Lane. Carmen's message. Okay. No. I'm using the D-pad on my controller and it just doesn't work sometimes. Let's just spend some of these dice. Fuel extraction, food. For 5. I'm just gonna go for fuel then. Get rid of these glitch dice. Okay, let's head out. You were the first to notice them. Small, white, smooth shapes at the boundaries between hull plates, in the seams of panelling, curling out from beneath vents. Mushrooms dotted here and there, all across the cargo bay. Mushrooms growing on your ship. This doesn't seem very hygienic. Bliss floats next to you, surveying the scattering of pale caps in the cargo bay. It's hard not to agree. Although you doubt spores and fungi can have a significant effect on your body. Not that you've risked it before. We should vent the cargo bay. Seraphine's voice crackles through the cargo bay's speakers. He's flying the ship, but you updated him on your new passengers. This is what comes from having spores in wonky crates sitting in your bay cycle after cycle. I thought I got rid of them all. You look with slight embarrassment at the ragged spore crate that Nember asked you to deliver to Aki as a gift. Maybe you should have proved a faster courier. What? I delivered them though. Bliss sees you looking. Hey, don't blame yourself. They don't seem to be hurting anyone. They float over to a cap and tear it off at the stem. We know from Nemba that these are edible, so we could farm them. We're always short on supplies. Seraphine's voice buzzes through the speakers, but a few caps don't make a meal. Bliss inspects the cap. I do like a mushroom. They sniff at it. Back on the eye. They had these matsutake that smelled amazing. You look over the cargo bay. It doesn't get much used much. Most of your halls fit comfortably in one quarter. There's plenty of room to isolate a little growing area. Maybe with some plastic sheets. So like, have I unintentionally helped the ship? Or was this bound to happen anyway? Because I could have sworn that I delivered all of this. Or maybe I was supposed to click on the same thing more than once. Anyway. Or you could just open the hatch and let the void of space sterilize the whole place for you as you fly. After all, if these things get into the air recyclers, you could have some serious problems on your hands. And who knows what they might do to the wiring. Either way, you better keep hold of the packed spore crate. Maybe just secure it in its own locker. Nemba wouldn't be impressed if you vented those spores. But the mushrooms, you need to decide what to do with them. Keep the mushrooms, I guess. Bliss holds the cap to their mouth, then thinks better of it. They squint at you. Are you sure? Yeah, keep them. We'll still need to figure out how to harvest and prepare them. Bliss sips the cap into a pocket. Slips. But I think it's a good call. You hope they're right. This rig is busy enough without adding extra ecosystems into the mix. As you leave the cargo bay, you suddenly realise you've taken on yet another project. It is becoming a habit. I mean, if it helps towards supplies, then... But I can see there being an issue later down the line, maybe. Okay, let's... We need food. So don't we need to be here for something? Oh no, we need to head across, don't we? Yeah, let's fill our fuel. I don't need the money, so... I could maybe do with some more scrap components in case some dice break. I don't need the money, so I'm not going to sell these Solheim datas. So there's some work there to spend my dice. Let's fill our supplies. And do some work. Spend these crappy dice that I've got. Glitch ones. Let's feed the cat. Oh wait, what's this? Rig cargo bay. Ah. Oh well. Let's oh yeah, yeah. Feel like I'm wasting supplies. Let's just do another cycle here. You find yourself in the cockpit alone with Flint. They have a habit of entering a room so silently that you don't notice them arrive, or the reverse, leaving so silently that you turn around to find them gone. Right now they hover expectantly at the corner of your vision, preparing to speak. You ever think about your original? The way they ask the question, you can tell they have been eager to ask it for a while. The person you are emulated from, I mean. The person who sold themselves, sold you, to Essenart. Flint's expression doesn't betray any emotion, but you feel like you can detect some unknowable feeling whirling behind their eyes. Sometimes I can't stop thinking about them, about who they are, and if who I am has anything to do with them. Flint looks away. Is my personality a product of being a sleeper, or simply a copy of theirs? Have I changed, or am I still an identical copy of them? Does the emulation process, the loss of memory, the insertion into a frame actually make us totally different people? What came through the process of emulation and what was blocked? Clint is looking around the cockpit rapidly now, their eyes flicking from object to object as they speak. Are there memories still inside me, but cut off, concealed? And if I admit it, I wonder if I even know what it feels like to be a person. Do the humans around me feel the things I feel? Or do they feel more, feel less, feel somehow differently? Do they feel the creeping claustrophobia of being trapped inside a body with no escape? Clint's eyes flick back to you. Do only we know how that truly feels? I can't answer that. Then who can? Clint meets your eye. I haven't seen another sleeper since I escaped Essenor. Share your experiences. There is a wall in you. One that you have built for yourself. One that separates the kind of question Flint is asking from the parts of you that you need to live. You feel it now, like a weight in your chest. And behind, there is a raging torrent pressing against it. You cannot take down the wall. You would drown. But in this moment, for Flint, and for yourself, you take out a single brick. You make a gap in the wall. You share what comes bursting forth. You talk about what it feels like to wake up in a dying body, to catch a glance of yourself in a mirror, to be seen and reminded of your false and fractured face. You share the pain of lost memories, of fleeting deja vu, of dreams that slip beneath your waking life and replace it. You find in your broken bodies and unsteady minds of a kind of solidarity, one shared between connected strangers who might one cycle understand each other as a friend. As you put the brick back in and shore up your defences, you know that cycle will not be this one, but its distant possibility is a reassuring one. Ah, shit. I didn't get food. We've got a message, Sleeper. Seraphim comes to the bunks to get you, his mood unusually serious. He brings you to the cockpit, his keepsake coin in his hand the whole time, spinning between his fingers. Seraphim is worried. Once you're in the cockpit, you recognize Carmen's voice immediately, playing over the rig's speakers. Sleeper, I hope this message finds you and your crew safely. You'll forgive me if I'm a little tight on the details. My message is as follows. We are ready. We will be waiting where agreed. Godspeed. The message ends with a click. So, Seraphim takes a deep breath. They are waiting in Greenbelt, the wheat sheaf, he said. Whatever that is. You ready for this? We need to prepare. Seraphim nods. No point rushing into this. We'll have one shot. Quiet falls in the cockpit. There doesn't seem to be much more to say. Carmen will be waiting, but you know he'll want you to be prepared. I'll be ready when you are, Sleeper. Seraphim nods to you. You nod back. You know where you need to go to end this. Let's Do one more cycle here then. Sweet. What does this mean? The farmer is working, but you'll have to wait for the fruiting bodies to grow before you can harvest them for supplies. Okay, let's try and get rid of some of this stress. Nice. Let's go do some work if we can. I feel like I've got a lot of money that I don't need. Let's buy some more scrap components then. Okay, let's head out. So let's just yeah, this is the only place to go, mission-wise. The biosphere, once barren, is transformed. Where it was once dry and grey, it now swirls with amber dust, a hazy cloud cut through with the bone-white tendrils of steppe silk. Aki, in mask and goggles, lets the biosphere circulating air with the end of her scarf, twirling and twisting, even threatening to rip it from her neck. That scarf, she has explained, is woven from the best fibers of the steppe silk itself. There's quite a lot of typos in this game. That is why this place is known as Weaver's Fields, for the workshops of Greenbelt's residents, creating fabric from its steppe silk fibers. Weavers who fled from Ember's steppe and those who taught afresh by Aki herself. Isn't it beautiful? Aki asks, her eyes glowing. Ember's steppe reborn on this rock, but not as an archive, as something new. The plants themselves are reconfigured. The steppe silk adapts well to the microgravity, even thrives, and the dust itself becomes a cloud that shrouds it. Aki points to a tendril stretching across the space. What was once a burrowing plant is now a bridging plant. Like us, it projects itself across empty space, pushing out into the its new conditions. Aki looks at you. Sorry, I'm rambling. This place does that to me. Her chuckle is muffled by her mask. It is beautiful. Aki bows. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Let's leave the dust house. We can talk more easily outside. She shepherds you through some nearby double doors, the space between blasting you with air to clean away the dust. You find yourself in a sparse room, racks of unfamiliar tools on the wall, slit-like windows looking out into the amber dust storm. This is just the beginning for us. Aki slips off her mask, and her voice is crisp and bright above the rumbling of the earth that recycles. The steppe silk is already being harvested, retted and woven. This is no synthetic fibre from the dark side looms. This is a natural fabric, out here in this unnatural place. Aki brushes a little dust away. We will trade it, and get what Greenbelt needs to stay stable, to feed its people. I am the administrator, but the workers are the owners here, and we will make a future for ourselves from our work. Aki shrugs. We control our path. What more could we want? Silence falls in the room. The idea of such a future is so desirable that it is almost painful. An idea that haunts you. You can spend as much time here as you like. Aki breaks the silence, somehow aware of your thoughts. I find the noise soothes me. Thank you. Aki bows gently. Aki pauses. there's something you want to ask me. She smiles. I can see it right there, on the tip of your tongue. Explain about Nemba. Aki listens carefully as you talk about the refugees in the far spindle, and the possibility of setting up a mutual relationship between them and the Greenbelt. The far spindle is a long way from here. She sighs. Come find me in my unit later. We can discuss more then. You leave Aki in their dust house, surrounded by the landscape of her homeworld. One of many creatures born on that parched moon that is in the process of transforming into something new. I guess we are at the end game right now. Pretty much. I mean, let's take a quick look at our hours. So I've been playing Citizen Sleeper 2 now for 21 hours. Which is quite a lot, so I've got quite a bit out of this game. I've said it before, but I assumed this game was going to be like 12 hours. But I'm almost double that. So I'm going to leave the video here. Because I want to take a nap. Because it is the weekend and I do like an afternoon siesta. I'll probably just have... This video is part 5, I believe. So hopefully part 6 will be the finale. It's kind of bittersweet because it's sweet that I'm getting towards the end of the game. But it's kind of a shame because I would like to play through the game again straight away. But again, as I said in another video, I'm trying to get this game out of the way and then I can move on to another game called Keep Driving, which I've bought and downloaded. So I want to get this out of the way and then do a let's play of that game. So, but what I'm thinking of doing is I haven't set up Twitch or anything yet, but sometime in the future I might just do a stream of this game, my second run through. I also might record it for YouTube again, because in total all of this is going to be over 20 hours split over like 6 parts, so it's quite a lot for people to consume. So I might, if I ever do a second playthrough, because I already know what the dialogue's going to be, I might just skim through it so it'll make the second playthrough a lot quicker, and then just have a completely separate video and title it with something like second playthrough, and hopefully the game should be half the time it's taken me. My only issue with that is that if I skim through the text really fast, I might make mistakes, which is why I need to do a second playthrough while the story is fresh in my mind so that I know what the outcomes are going to be. But it's not really, I've said this before, but it's not actually a proper, true RPG, because it does feel like some things are predetermined. No matter if I mess something up, I still, in a way, get the result I want, just with less cryo as a reward. But looking at it now, I'm pretty much at the end of the game. I have quite a lot of supplies that I don't even need to sell because I have that much money. So obviously what I need to do in my second playthrough is play it on the hardest difficulty. Right now I've got it on medium. So anyway, enough with the rambling. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the finale. See ya.